100 million Korean won. That is the price tag KBO legends are trading for now. Forget the multi-billion won contracts, forget the guaranteed glory years. Son Ah-seop, a man whose name belongs etched in the pantheon of Korean baseball, just signed a contract that is, frankly, an indictment of his current trajectory. And he did it to chase a dream nobody thought he would have to fight this hard for. This is the ultimate battle of pride versus passion, a brutal negotiation that ended not with a champagne toast, but with a quiet surrender to reality. A 1-year, 100 million won deal to stay with the Hanwha Eagles. The news finally dropped, confirming what many insiders had whispered. This wasn't a choice between several suitors. It was retirement or the Eagles. There were scattered rumors. Maybe a sign-and-trade was being cooked up. Maybe a team was lurking in the shadows. But the brutal truth became clear. No one wanted Son Ah-seop. Teams were not lining up. Even when the Eagles signaled they would drop the compensation requirement significantly, that hurdle that often scares away potential bidders, the phone remained silent. The consensus around the league was that the price the Eagles eventually put on the table was almost insulting to a player of his career standing. For a certified legend, someone who defined an era, accepting such paltry terms felt like a catastrophic blow to his personal brand and professional dignity. We're talking about a player who have consistently performed at an elite level, whose presence alone commands respect, now staring down a figure barely above the league minimum for a veteran. He must have considered walking away entirely. Retiring with his legacy intact, rather than enduring this public display of diminished value, would have been the easier, cleaner route. But ultimately, the urge to compete, the visceral need to step onto that diamond, proved stronger than the sting of the contract terms. Son Ah-seop accepted the 1-year deal, and in doing so, he chose the path of the ultimate comeback kid. This contract acceptance is not about the money. Let's be absolutely clear. A player with his career earnings is not signing for 100 million won out of financial desperation. This is purely a declaration of intent. It is a desperate yet noble move to secure one more chance at a career resurgence. He is aiming for a complete turnaround within this single season, hoping to revive his market value so that he can potentially secure a more favorable multi-year deal next winter, and, critically, finish his quest for the most cherished milestone in KBO history, 3,000 career hits. We recently saw him on a popular YouTube show, sitting alongside familiar faces like Hwang Jae-gin, and he spoke with an almost defiant confidence. He stated unequivocally, "I do not believe I am behind the younger players." This mindset, that self-belief, is the engine driving this comeback. But GMs aren't paid to believe in fairy tales or legend status. They are paid to evaluate metrics and future projections, and on paper, Son Ah-seop's performance has been sliding towards the abyss. Let's look at the numbers and the reality check that caused every team to pass. His last season, spanning his final days with NC Dinos and his brief stint with the Hanwha Eagles, was, by any objective measure, a failure for a player of his caliber. He started well, but the decline was visible. The primary concerns, the factors that ultimately led to his market freezing, are multifaceted but undeniable. First, there is the defensive fragility. Even in his prime, he wasn't known for gold glove defense, but as time progresses, his lateral movement and overall range have noticeably deteriorated. This limits him exclusively to a corner outfield spot, or, increasingly, the designated hitter role. In a modern KBO environment, a DH needs exceptional, game-changing power. And this brings us to the second, more damning statistic, the power outage. Last season, his home run total was a devastating one. One single home. I remember it vividly. It came during a lopsided game, lacking the impact or clutch moment that defines a superstar's long ball. When a player is relegated solely to corner, outfield, and DH roles, and the slugging percentage evaporates, they cease being an attractive asset, regardless of their historical stature. The league is currently awash with younger players who offer similar contact hitting, but both significantly higher power upside or superior defensive flexibility. For many clubs, slotting a rising prospect into his position is now deemed the wiser, more future-proofed strategy. And this redundancy issue is compounded by the specific reality of the Hanwha Eagles. Ironically, the team that signed him has the least clear path for him to play. The corner outfield spots at Hanwha are utterly saturated. They just brought in marquee talent like Kang Baek-ho, adding to existing foreign talent like Ryan Healy. Furthermore, the farm system is brimming with promising corner outfield prospects. We're talking about players like Choi In-ho, Lee Jin-young, and Lim Jung-chan, all vying for those exact same limited spots. Even Kim Tae-yeon, though practicing more infield work, represents the organizational imperative to prioritize youthful development. In this highly competitive environment, guaranteeing Son Ah-seop meaningful playing time in the starting lineup becomes a logistical nightmare for the coaching staff. This brings us to the most staggering detail revealed in his contract negotiation. Son Ah-seop will be starting the season in the minor leagues. He accepted a demotion to the Futures League. He will not be joining the high-profile first-team camp in Melbourne, Australia. Instead, he is heading to Kochi, Japan, to start his preparation with the second-team squad. This is the ultimate humbling reset. Son Ah-seop understands the gravity of the situation. A 100 million won contract does not guarantee a roster spot. It guarantees an opportunity to prove himself. He knows that the Eagles cannot afford to give him the benefit of the doubt. He must earn every single trip to the batter's box. The team management has already made their position clear, reportedly indicating that questions regarding Son Ah-seop's role are effectively off-limits for the immediate future. The terms of the deal, the low salary, the second-team start, were laid out early, giving him ample time to deliberate. His choice to sign means he is ready for a head-on collision with this adversity. Starting in the minors is one thing. Getting back to the KBO first team is another entirely. If we map out Son Ah-seop's potential trajectory back to the big leagues, it requires a series of unfortunate events for his teammates. For Son Ah-seop to grab regular playing time, one or more of Hanwha's top corner outfield prospects, the likes of Kang Baek-ho or Moon Hyun-bin, must significantly underperform or suffer injury. While we root for Son Ah-seop's individual success, his triumph would simultaneously signal that the Eagles as a team are struggling, creating a bittersweet tension for the club. He needs to display truly brilliant, undeniable form at the plate in the Futures League, the kind of performance that makes his lack of defense tolerable, the kind of hitting that simply cannot be ignored by the first-team brass. However, there is a silver lining that makes this re-signing a positive development for the Hanwha organization, despite the awkwardness of the contract terms. Son Ah-seop is universally beloved. His energy, his engaging personality, and his positive relationship with young stars like No Si-won are invaluable assets in the clubhouse. While his performance on the field has dipped, his influence off it is still potent. The new reality is that Son Ah-seop has transitioned into a player-mentor role, particularly in the minor leagues. The Eagles recently brought in Kim Ki-tae, a renowned hitting coach, specifically to elevate the output of the Futures League batters. Coincidentally, the Eagles' farm system is rich in talented young left-handed hitters. Choi In-ho, a promising prospect who narrowly missed the main camp roster, is one such player slated to work extensively under Coach Kim. Son Ah-seop, a veteran left-handed bat with thousands of professional plate appearances, now has the chance to be the ultimate example. He can teach these youngsters not just how to swing, but how to prepare, how to handle the inevitable slumps, and how to carry themselves as professionals. This influence, this transfer of knowledge to the next generation of Eagles, might be the true value of this 100 million won contract. But let's be realistic. This is undoubtedly his last opportunity. If he fails to show significant improvement this season, if the power doesn't return, if the contact metrics continue to regress, retirement becomes an inevitability. No other team will risk a major investment on a declining star who has spent time in the minors. This season is the final chapter of the Son Ah-seop redemption arc. With his contract sealed, the KVL-FA market officially closes. Every player who declared free agency has found a home, closing one of the quieter but perhaps most dramatically nuanced off-seasons in recent memory. We've seen major moves. The Eagles acquired Kang Baek-ho, while the FA process saw veteran Lee Jae-won shift to a playing coach role. But Son Ah-seop's signing is the final punctuation mark, a quiet reflection of the harsh reality facing aging stars. He chose passion over the easy comfort of a dignified retirement. He chose the struggle. His ultimate personal quest remains that magical number, 3,000 hits. Whether he gets there remains to be seen, but the hope is that if he does, he will be standing there, bathed in the roar of the crowd, wearing the Hanwha Eagles uniform. That record, that legacy, deserves to be completed while actively contributing to a winning team. Son Ah-seop recently gave a brief interview expressing gratitude, stating he thanked the club for choosing him again, and confirming that while he joins the camp later than the main squad, his physical preparation is complete. He promised to do his best in his place to help the Eagles fly high again. It's a formal interview, perhaps, but it carries the weight of a man who has made peace with his circumstances and is ready to fight from the bottom up. We stand fully behind Son Ah-seop as he embarks on this daunting final challenge. Welcome back to the fight, and may your bat prove mightier than your contract. The spotlight is now firmly fixed on Kochi, waiting for the comeback. But while Son Ah-seop fights for his life in the second division, the Hanwha Eagles have one new megastar, a pitching legend who hasn't even played a full game yet, and the expectations resting on his arm are staggering. Next time, we break down the pressure cooker surrounding the potential return of Ryu Hyun-jin and the most dangerous gamble the Eagles are taking on their starting rotation. You won't want to miss the breakdown of the single highest stakes pitching decision in KBO history.